Well, that's when the bull market started.
Is this going to be a good thing for Bitcoin or a bad thing?
That is what's going to cause the crypto super cycle. All the policy that had to be pushed was let's introduce Bitcoin as a traded potential fund through the NASDAQ. I don't know if Bitcoin is a good thing or if Bitcoin is a bad thing in the sense of ETF approval. I'm just right now not even looking at the ETF as an individual event, as a singularity event. Remember, I've been in the space for 8 years. So under the premise that I've been in the space for 8 years, I've seen Bitcoin at $560. I've seen Bitcoin at 1,000. I saw Bitcoin at 20, then back down at 3,500. I saw ETH at 1,500. I saw ETH at 80. You know what I mean? I've seen this thing go all the way up, all the way down. But Bitcoin always makes higher lows. So when you control the markets and you get into lobbying and you get into how politicians are persuaded to push policy, not in my famous words, but in the famous words of one of the BlackRock employees, with 10 grand, you can buy a senator. So with 10 grand, you can buy a senator. With 10 grand, you can push a policy. So all the policy that had to be pushed was let's introduce Bitcoin as a traded potential fund through the NASDAQ. And it's not the first time that it's happened. We had the futures ETFs that were approved. We had ETFs approved in other countries. It was just a matter of time. All that had to happen was the T's needed to be crossed, the I's needed to be dotted, and BlackRock needed to sign the motherfucking paper. So when BlackRock runs the world and BlackRock says, we just filed for a Bitcoin application at the bottom of Bitcoin, what are you going to do? Fight them? What are they doing? Lying to you? No, they have a reputation to maintain. If they're going to actually go and pull off an ETF, it's because they have customers that want that product. But most people are like, well, why is this crazy? Why is this a good thing? Because a lot of individuals that wouldn't get exposed to crypto, that wouldn't buy crypto, that don't care about whether Bitcoin is the currency of the future, all they want is profit. They want exposure to this, but not through decentralized finance. They want it through a product that they understand. So BlackRock, as a financial institution that offers what? Services and products, they just said, let's make Bitcoin a product that we can sell. And that's exactly what they did.
Is this going to be a good thing for Bitcoin or a bad thing? Obviously, it's good for Bitcoin price, but from my perspective, BlackRock and these other like major asset managers buying up this much Bitcoin seems like they're going to control a huge amount of the supply. That concerns me. Does it concern you at all?
It doesn't concern me. The reason it doesn't concern me is because Bitcoin has no owner.
Right.
And what I mean by Bitcoin has no owner is that it has no one centralized party that dictates the outcome of Bitcoin. Now, even though there's people that hold a lot of Bitcoin, that doesn't mean that they control Bitcoin. You had, for example, the richest guy in Bitcoin is a Chinese man known as Jihan Wu. He probably has over 1 million tokens. He probably has barely less tokens than Satoshi, if not more. He has one of the biggest mining companies in crypto, and the ASIC mining machines, that's his company.
Okay.
So this guy was mining Bitcoin before Bitcoin mining was cool. He put out an article recently saying, hey, during the ETF approval, we think the market may go down. So all I'm doing is listening to other individuals and asking myself, what is the currency that I am willing to bet on?
A lot of people are calling this event a buy the rumor, sell the news event. What's your take? How do you think?
It doesn't matter. It depends on the individual that you are.
Right.
So if you are somebody that buys and saves in Bitcoin, it's irrelevant because you are not counting it at a dollar value. You're counting it as your ability to buy Bitcoin. If you want to trade the market, the last thing you want to be doing is trading during the ETF. Because you don't know what's going to happen. And what you need to understand is that exchanges have an understanding of order flows. They know what buy orders are in. They know what sell orders are in. They understand how thin the books are, and they can easily manipulate in and out of the market. So if you have Bitcoin under the premise of I save in Bitcoin, don't worry about the ETF. If you're a trader and you want to capitalize on the markets, you need to be a person that understands that the markets sell into the liquidity. So when is the liquidity going to come? Always during the news. Do you want to be trading that event? No, because who are you trading up against? Bots, algorithms, AI, trading desks. You're fucked. With what? Your $1,000 trade on 5x leverage because that's going to be your moonshot? No. What you need to do is wait till everything settles and understand the macro trend. And where's the macro trend? The macro trend is that we are in a fucking bull run, sister. We're in a big ass bull run. And this bull run is what I believe to be the biggest super cycle crypto has ever seen. And the reason isn't because Bitcoin is more special than it used to be. First of all, Bitcoin is more indestructible than it used to be. It's not more special. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. But crypto has become a very special space. Why? Because the path of least resistance is finally here. The first bull run that I participated in, and if you wanted to be part of an ICO, you would fund your MetaMask wallet with Ethereum, you would send it to an ICO address, and they would send you tokens back. It was impossible to scale. You can't run an enterprise that way, but that was the way of raising funds. The next bull run, we had the Binance Smart Chain, right? And we've talked about this, how I bought 1% of the PancakeSwap supply because I saw DeFi growing. And I was like, whoa, these guys have built upon DeFi and they've built a platform. But it was still kind of raw. You would still have to connect multiple chains and it would get messy. And then you would have your transactions, your gas transactions freeze. It wasn't a normie experience. Today, all you have to do is three things. Open up your iPhone. If you want to get involved in crypto in 2024, all you have to do is three simple steps. One, open up your app store, download the Phantom wallet, click the Jupiter exchange, and have your wallet funded with some crypto. And in 10 minutes, you can be trading crypto. You can be buying crypto with no KYC, no centralization from any part of the world as long as you have access to the internet. That is the path of least resistance to the normies, and it's finally here. That is what's going to cause the crypto super cycle.
Okay, so when you say super cycle, explain what that looks like.
Massive adoption. My rotation back into crypto came the moment Credit Suisse and SVB defaulted.
Oh,
that's
perfect timing.
Well, that's when the bull market started, because trillions of dollars were printed to bail the banks, just like 08. But this time, you had Ukraine war on the news. You had a ton of different narratives happening. So the printing of money was under the radar, but it still took place. So when you have $2 trillion that nobody was talking about printed, what happens? The markets pump. So the bottom of the bear market was the tanking of SVB, the bank. I think there was another bank, I forget what it was called, and Credit Suisse. The bailing out of those banks was the beginning of the bull run. Now, we had a micro kind of bear market throughout 2023 in crypto, but we didn't have it in the stock market. The stock market pumped. The AI narrative was strong. And as soon in June or July, as soon as the Bitcoin ETF BlackRock application was submitted, I rotated fully back into crypto. Why? Why wouldn't I bet on the biggest asset manager in the world? Simultaneously, I made a $2 million purchase of BlackRock stock. Why? Do I like BlackRock? No. I don't give a fuck. I'm still going to make money off of the fact that BlackRock will have their BTC ETF approved and their stock is going to fucking pump.
Out of interest, how quickly do you think it will be approved? We want to get this interview out pretty soon.
I think the Bitcoin ETF becomes approved in January 2024, and if it doesn't, within the first quarter, most definitely. Most definitely. Now, I've heard from sources inside of a couple of these companies that are running these ETFs that at this point it's just picking who they want first. And it looks like they're going to probably approve a ton of people at the same time because they can't pick, which is fucking crazy to think about.
Is there a reason they would pick one asset manager or one institution over another?
So not necessarily, but it's a battle for assets under management at this point. So it's figuring out who gets approved first and who can get as much liquidity into their ETF, because that ETF will most likely dwindle any other ETF. You're not going to have 20 top performing Bitcoin ETFs. You won't. You'll have a few dominant Bitcoin ETFs that are priced in properly. The tokenomics, and instead of it saying like $40,000 for the ETF price point, maybe it's $4. So $4 is more digestible, and you see the $4 price go up, more people are going to buy into that. So whoever can tap into public funds with their ETF is going to fucking skyrocket. And whoever can get first and secure funds, which are going to be hard to move to another asset manager, I think those are going to be the leaders long term. But I don't think all the ETFs are going to have massive liquidity. I just think some of the more prolific ones will.